The jungle was alive, not with the sounds of animals, but with something darker. The usual symphony of nocturnal creatures was absent, replaced by an unsettling silence that seemed to swallow every sound, something hungry. The air hung heavy, thick with the smell of damp earth and rotting leaves. It was a scent that clung to the back of your throat, making each breath feel like an effort. Moonlight struggled to pierce the dense canopy above, casting long, distorted shadows that danced and writhed like living things. The interplay of light and shadow created an ever-shifting landscape where nothing was as it seemed. A twig snapped. My heart pounded in my chest, a primal drum against the silence of the night. The sound echoed in the stillness, amplifying my sense of vulnerability. Something was out there, watching, waiting. The feeling of being observed was almost tangible, like a weight pressing down on my shoulders. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end. I could feel my senses sharpening, every rustle of leaves, every chirp of an insect amplified in the stillness. It was as if the jungle itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. I was alone, but I didn't feel alone. It was the kind of feeling that sends shivers down your spine, a primal fear that whispered of unseen dangers lurking just beyond the reach of the firelight. The darkness seemed to close in around me, making the shadows feel more oppressive. The feeling that something was hunting me. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs felt like lead. The jungle had become a living entity, a predator in its own right, and I was its prey. My eyes darted around, scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. Every shadow seemed to hide a threat, every sound a potential danger. The jungle was a maze of fear and uncertainty, and I was trapped within its depths. I gripped my flashlight tightly, the beam of light cutting through the darkness but offering little comfort. It was a fragile barrier against the encroaching night, a small circle of safety in a sea of unknowns. Despite the fear, I steeled myself. I had to keep moving, had to find a way out of this living nightmare. The jungle was testing me, pushing me to my limits, but I couldn't afford to give in to the terror. With each cautious step, I navigated the treacherous terrain, my senses on high alert. The jungle was a labyrinth of shadows and sounds, and I had to stay one step ahead of whatever was out there, lurking in the darkness. The legend of the Chupacabra, a name that strikes fear into the hearts of farmers and villagers across the Americas. A creature of the night, born from whispers and shadows, its origins shrouded in mystery, its existence debated by scientists and feared by locals. The stories always start the same: livestock drained of blood, strange tracks left behind, and the lingering stench of sulfur. The first reported sightings came from Puerto Rico in the mid-1990s. Farmers awoke to find their goats and sheep dead, drained of all their blood. Puncture wounds on the necks, like something had sucked the life force from the animals. The culprit, a creature no one had seen before. Something monstrous. The Chupacabra, they called it, the goat sucker. Eyewitness accounts vary, but some details remain consistent. The stories come from different corners of the world, yet they share eerie similarities that send shivers down the spine. From the dense forests of Puerto Rico to the remote farmlands of Chile, the Chupacabra has left its mark. A creature about the size of a small bear with sharp claws and spines running down its back. Witnesses describe it as having a menacing presence, one that instills a deep sense of dread. Glowing red eyes that seem to pierce the soul. These eyes are often the first and last thing witnesses see, burning into their memories, and a foul odor that clings to the air long after the creature is gone. This stench is described as a mix of sulfur and decay, lingering in the nostrils and making the experience even more unsettling. Some say it has wings, others describe a leaping ability that defies gravity. These accounts add to the creature's mystique, making it seem almost supernatural. But all agree, the Chupacabra is a creature of nightmare. Its very existence challenges our understanding of the natural world, blurring the lines between myth and reality.
One farmer in Chile described seeing a creature with leathery, grey skin and long, sharp claws. He recounted how it attacked his livestock, leaving behind a trail of blood and terror. It moved with an unnatural speed, almost gliding across the ground. The The farmer could hardly believe his eyes, as the creature seemed to defy the laws of physics.
Another witness in Mexico swore it had glowing red eyes and a forked tongue that darted in and out of its mouth. This witness was convinced that the creature was not of this world, describing it as a demon incarnate.
The stories are chilling, each encounter leaving behind a trail of fear and uncertainty. People who have seen the Chupacabra are often left questioning their own sanity, haunted by the memory of those glowing eyes and the creature's otherworldly presence. Are these just tall tales, or is there something more to these terrifying encounters? The legend of the Chupacabra continues to grow, fueled by each new sighting and the fear it instills. Whether a figment of imagination or a real creature lurking in the shadows, the Chupacabra remains one of the most enduring and terrifying mysteries of our time. Scientists remain skeptical. Many believe the Chupacabra sightings can be attributed to misidentified animals like coyotes or wild dogs suffering from mange.
The blood-draining aspect, they argue, is simply the work of natural predators, but some evidence defies explanation. The precision of the attacks, the complete drainage of blood, and the lack of any other predatory behavior leave even the most hardened skeptics scratching their heads.
DNA samples collected from alleged Chupacabra attack sites have yielded inconclusive results. Some samples point to known canids, while others show no match in any existing animal database. The mystery deepens, leaving us with more questions than answers. Is the Chupacabra a real creature unknown to science, or is it something else entirely unknown? Theories abound. Some believe the Chupacabra is the result of government experiments gone wrong, a genetic mutation unleashed into the wild.
Others whisper of extraterrestrial origins, a creature not of this world, drawn to Earth for reasons unknown. Could the Chupacabra be a visitor from another planet? Its thirst for blood, a terrifying reminder of the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding.
The lack of concrete evidence only fuels the speculation. Without a body, a clear image, or conclusive DNA evidence, the Chupacabra remains elusive, a phantom of the night, its legend growing with each whispered story, each unexplained attack. Is it a creature of myth, a figment of our collective imagination? Or is there something more to this terrifying tale?
I stood at the edge of the forest, the air thick with anticipation. The night was still, almost unnaturally so, as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The moonlight barely penetrated the dense canopy, casting long, eerie shadows that danced with every slight breeze. I could feel the weight of the legends pressing down on me, the stories of those who had come before me and those who had never returned. The stories, the legends, the eyewitness accounts. They all led me here, each tale more fantastical than the last, speaking of creatures that defied the natural order, beings that lurked in the shadows waiting for the unwary. I had spent countless hours poring over these accounts, trying to separate fact from fiction, hoping to find a kernel of truth in the midst of the madness. To this place, this moment. Every step I took felt like a step into another world, a world where the boundaries between reality and myth blurred. The forest seemed alive, whispering secrets in a language I couldn't understand, urging me to turn back, to leave while I still could. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, a primal drum against the silence of the night. Each beat echoed in my ears, a reminder of my own mortality, of the danger that lay ahead. The fear was almost palpable, a living thing that wrapped itself around me, squeezing tighter with every passing second. My hand trembled as I raised my camera, its lens a shield against the darkness. This camera was my only defense, my only way to capture proof of what I was about to witness. It felt like a fragile barrier, one that could easily be shattered by the unknown forces that lurked in the shadows. I was hunting a monster. Not just any monster, but the one that had haunted my dreams, the one that had driven me to the brink of obsession. I had to see it for myself, to know that it was real, to prove that the stories were more than just tales told to frighten children.
A twig snapped. The sound was sharp, cutting through the silence like a knife. It was a small noise, but in the stillness of the night, it was deafening. It was a sign, a signal that I was not alone, that something was out there watching me. My breath caught in my throat. I stood frozen, every muscle tensed, waiting for the next sound, the next movement. My eyes scanned the darkness, searching for any sign of the creature, any hint of its presence. There, in the distance, a pair of glowing red eyes pierced the darkness. They were like twin beacons, burning with an intensity that seemed almost otherworldly. They held me captive, drawing me in, daring me to come closer. They seemed to burn with an unnatural intensity, like embers in the night. It was as if they were alive, filled with a malevolent intelligence that watched my every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The creature moved with an eerie grace, its silhouette barely discernible against the dark undergrowth. It was almost as if it was a part of the forest itself, a shadow that had come to life, slipping through the trees with a fluidity that was both beautiful and terrifying.
I raised my camera, my finger hovering over the shutter button. This was the moment I had been waiting for, the moment that would either confirm my worst fears or lay them to rest. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my hand, to calm the storm of emotions that raged within me. This was it, the moment of truth. Everything I had done, everything I had sacrificed had led to this point. I pressed the button, the camera's flash illuminating the darkness for a brief blinding moment, and in that instant I saw it. The monster, the creature of legend, standing before me, as real as the fear that gripped my heart.
The creature vanished as quickly as it had appeared, melting back into the shadows. I was left standing there, my heart racing, my camera clutched tightly in my hand. Had I imagined it? Was it just a trick of the light, a figment of my overactive imagination? Or had I just come face to face with the legendary Chupacabra? The memory of those glowing eyes haunted me long after I left the forest. The encounter left me with more questions than answers, my mind racing with possibilities. The Chupacabra, myth or monster, the truth, like the creature itself, remains elusive, hidden in the shadows, waiting to be discovered, or perhaps it's better left unknown. A chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved.